Hi. Uh, Normally I get things in like bunches or whatever, but this time I just got one word from God about what I'm supposed to speak on today, and that was Lazarus. Well, I got to studying, and I I found uh, something that actually involved his sisters, Martha and Mary. Now, there was a mention in here of something that happened later on, but uh, the way this starts is over in Luke chapter 10, and starting in verse 38. Uh, Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things. But one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. Uh, that's just basically to introduce everybody to uh, the relationship between Jesus, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, because that's his sisters, Martha and Mary. Now, over in John chapter 11, uh, it starts out, Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. That's another part of the story that happened later on. Therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. I don't care what people try to tell you, that just means that Jesus liked him. He was his friend. When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that saith he to his disciples, Let us go into Judea again. His disciples say unto him, Master, the Jews of late sought to stone thee, and goest thou thither again? Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him. Of course, that light is Jesus. These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awaken him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking rest and sleep. Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. And I'm glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent you may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, unto his fellow disciples, Let us also go, that we may die with him. Then when Jesus came, he found that he had lain in the grave 4 days already. Jesus lingered 2 days. But when in a minute you're gonna hear something that is kind of strange sounding. Now remember, he waited 2 days before he went over there. Now Bethany was nigh unto Jerusalem, about 15 furlongs off. Now I studied about the furlongs, and their furlong is an eighth of a mile. So 15 furlongs, he is, a little over 1 3/4 miles is all it was from Jerusalem to there. He was pretty close. That's why the disciples were worried, because they knew that, the powers that be didn't like Jesus, because he was showing them for what they are. That light exposed their darkness. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to comfort them concerning their brother. Then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house. Now, Martha is about to say something that her sister said in a little while. Then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. Now that's in verse 21. Now, in a little bit, over in verse 32, Mary showed up because Martha told her that Jesus wanted her. Then when Mary was come where Jesus was and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in the spirit and was troubled. And he said, Where have you laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come and see. Then the most famous, shortest verse in the Bible, verse 35, Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, Behold how he loved him. And some of them said, Could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should not have died? Jesus therefore again, groaning in himself, cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Now, the difference between what Martha said and what Mary said, I just read you about all that Mary said. She said basically the same thing that Martha said, but Martha continued. And when she said, If thou hadst been here, my brother had not died, she continued over in verse 22. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. Jesus saith unto her, Thy brother shall rise again. Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? She saith unto him, Yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had so said, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, The Master is come and calleth for thee. Basically, that just means she pulled her off to the side and told her. And Mary, as soon as she had heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him. Now, Jesus was not yet come into the town, but was in that place where Martha met him. The big difference between Martha and Mary right here in this passage is that Martha recognized Jesus as the Christ, the Son of God. In a minute, you will see the difference here. But Mary and the Jews that were with her were weeping because all they thought of as Jesus was a healer. Even though Martha said, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died, she continued on and recognized that if Jesus wanted something to happen, that it would happen because his God would give him the power. His Father would give him the power to do whatever he wanted to. And Mary and the Jews, they just thought, well, you could have healed him. That's all they thought. That's all they thought that Jesus was capable of doing, was healing the sick, the infirmed of whatever, like they were talking about, opening the eyes of the blind. In those days, there is no way in the world anybody could heal someone's eyes that was born blind. If something happened to them later in life, they got some kind of fever or whatever, sometimes they could kind of fix that. But no way a human, a doctor, and these days, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, where they could cause somebody to see that was born blind. It's just not going to happen, especially in those days. Like I say, now, maybe, I don't know. But here's the difference. Mary and the Jews that were with her recognized that he was a healer. Martha recognized him as a healer as well, but she knew that he was the Christ, the Son of God, and could do whatever. And Jesus explained it to her when he said, I am the resurrection and the life. Now, after Jesus went to the cave where Lazarus was laid, Jesus said, take you away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, saith unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. Now the Jews, when someone dies, they bury them the same day if they can. They don't embalm them. They just put the ointment on them and stuff to, try to keep down the smell, and in case someone else needs to be put in that same spot. And a year later, they would come back and take their bones, because by then that would be all that was left, and they would put them in a box. That's what they did with Joseph, and that's how they were able to bring his bones back to Israel when they left Egypt. Okay. Then Jesus saith unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hearest me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. Jesus wouldn't have to, he didn't have anything to prove to these people, but he wanted them to understand who he was and who sent him. And when he had thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Jesus said unto them, Loose him, and let him go. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him. They went from recognizing Jesus as a healer to the Son of God. There are a lot of things in this world that we won't truly understand until we actually get to see Jesus face to face in heaven. There are some things that, like that part where I read about Martha and Mary sitting at his feet, even though she actually saw Jesus face to face and talked to him and listened to him, she still didn't quite get it. But after this, she did get it. But we just need to stay faithful and listen and pay attention, and we will, like I said, someday, we won't just believe all this stuff. We will know it, and we will recognize him, and we will get all this stuff taken care of. But the thing is, when you recognize Jesus as the Son of God and you accept him as your Savior, you will see Jesus one of these days in heaven. And it's always a good thing. Yeah, my chief executive officer here, she's showing me, she wants me to read Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's very important. Got to have that faith, don't you? I love y'all. We'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, if you watch this and you enjoy it, you agree, hit that like button, subscribe button, the little bell, and then you'll get notifications when I post another video. I love y'all. See you next time. Bye.